everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of And Get Good at Business Highlight. I am your host, Taylor Proctor, your business coach for helping you get good at business so you can get back into why you got into the heart of your business in the first place. And everything we do around here is based on the I Move method, which is my proprietary method designed to help you create the business that you love and be able to have a life that you love and want to live as well. So the I Move method stands for intuition, marketing, operations, velocity, and execution. And today with Alisse Coil, we will be going through how she uses the I Move method in her business. And so we're so excited to have Alisse join us today. Thanks for joining us, Alisse.
You're welcome. I'm excited to be here.
And I want to share just a little bit of your bio and about your business. So Alisse is a small town girl that has learned that she has a big impact to make in the world. She started teaching essential oil classes 14 years ago and loves the hope that it brings to people as they find a new tool for their health. From the US to the Philippines, she has found women searching for hope in their health and hope in their dreams. She recently has given herself the charge to cheer on fellow entrepreneurs by sharing simple tips that they can use to balance their work and personal life, along with essential oils to relieve stress. She's a mom of 5, a grandma of 8, and hopefully friend to many, and she is here to cheer us on. And her business, Hometown Abundance, has a mission statement that reads, she is gathering those who are searching to regain the happiness in their life. Whether it's better health, better work-life balance, or overall gratitude for the cup, whether it's full or empty, she is our gal. So thank you so much for joining us, Alisse, and really excited for you to be here.
Yeah, me too. Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about how things got started. Like what inspired you to start teaching essential oils in the first place? And how has that evolved to that broader mission of Hometown Abundance?
Right. Well, so I will give you the short version of that because 14 years is a lot, right? Basically, about 14 years ago, I was looking for a way to sleep better. I had recently lost my mother-in-law to cancer, and that had just left a hole because 24 hours a day, my husband and I were caring for her, right? And I just wasn't sleeping. I didn't want to take no sleeping pill. Anyway, series of events led us to a farmer's market where we were doing a cystic fibrosis walk for my nephew. And there was a table with a diffuser with essential oils. And my husband literally said, see if they have a concoction to help you sleep, because he knew I had been on this quest. And long story short, that is how I discovered therapeutic grade essential oils. Bought a kit and a book, and on the way home I said to my husband, I'm doing something with this. I don't know, but I am doing something with this. And he's like, wait, you can't like get all weird on us. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
He's like, you haven't even used it to see if it helps you sleep yet.
I know, but it was like, there's something here. So I did. We started to use them. I was sleeping better. And then as I started reading, I'm like, oh, well, we could use this for a tummy ache, and we could use this. And I just started to realize there was a wealth of tools that not everyone knew about that could be utilized right in our own homes. And I am was a preschool teacher. That's my degree, is in teaching. And so it's just natural for me to want to share good things that I have. We live in a small town. I didn't want my kids and my husband to feel like I turned into the weird lady, because essential oils are pretty common right now, right? But 14 years ago, it was still a little awkward, but wasn't as in the norm. So I promised him we wouldn't be weird. I'd just use them. We'd keep a lid on it, and that was fine. Well, my daughter was on a dance team, and they would practice at 5 a.m. She woke up with a sore throat, and I had read in my book that oregano and lemon was good for a sore throat. So we rubbed it in, sent her off to practice, and she came home that morning and she's like, my life's ruined. I'm like, what is going on? She's like, Mom, I'm warming up for dance team. And the girl next to me leans over and asked me if I'd had spaghetti for breakfast because she could smell the essential oils. And she's like, the worst part about it was I had to tell her, you're that weird lady. You use essential oils.
Right.
So after that, I'm like, you know what? Cat's out of the bag. We'll just teach. So I just opened my mouth and started teaching classes. same day, same time, every single week, Grandma Helen's, and anybody that wanted to hear.
Mhm.
And I've done that consistently in the US and in the Philippines as well. We were drawn there with the need. And for about the last year, I felt like there was a shift happening. I knew essential oils were still at the core of what I was going to do, but there was a shift and I was needed elsewhere. And I didn't really know what that was. Rewind September, October, my daughter tagged me in a post of someone who does speaking events saying, I'm looking for people who want to speak at events. And I thought, who does my daughter think I know that should speak at this? And
She
I
knows you.
it was me. So I messaged the gal and I'm like, okay, so my gut is telling me this is my next step and I'm not sure. So it took a lot of just kind of digging deep and looking at what value I have to offer and filling that hole. So I'm just in the baby steps of following that intuition and creating that next step of our business. So
I love that. And throughout that story, intuition sounds like it's played a role multiple times, right? You got the kit, you're on the car on the ride home. You don't even know if it's going to work yet. And intuitively, you're like, I'm supposed to do something with this. And that gut and that intuition of like being called to the Philippines and helping and supporting and teaching that way and to those people. And then the intuition of like, okay, well, now how do we help business owners and speak from stages and all of that? I love that. So how is intuition continuing to be a guiding force in your decisions and approaches to your business?
well, I think it's just that. It's just keeping my heart and my mind open to what that is, even if I don't know what it looks like in a week or in a year, right? But saying, okay, I'm being led here. Being Christian, it's like, all right, God, what's next? And I will just take that next step. And I always taught my kids, like we said, I'm the mom of 5 kids, and I would always tell them there's no growth in your comfort zone. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. Well, I've rephrased that. And because I felt like I was telling my kids where they were was bad, that they needed to get out of where they were. We don't
Mm.
need to get out of where we are. We just need to expand and stretch our possibilities. So you have to stretch that comfort zone to reach where that potential is. And I've had the conversation with all my adult kids. Sorry, I taught you wrong. Don't get out of your comfort zone. Stay in it because that's where your zone of genius is. That's where you're in your absolute element of who you're supposed to be, but stretch it to reach that next goal. Stretch it so that it encompasses what your full potential is in incremental steps as that comes to you. So that's my intuition. That's how I do
Yeah.
it.
I love that. And I think it's important too, because the intuition, following your intuition and trusting it will naturally create that stretch progression, as opposed to like, I'm here and I have to take a massive leap out here. It's like, no, incremental stretching and the intuition and trusting it is the way to get there.
Right, right.
Love
One
that.
step at a time, right?
Mhm. So, share with us how you approach marketing Hometown Abundance, especially in terms of connecting with your audience in a way that is personable and relatable, because you were working with entrepreneurs. Previous to that, you're working with people who are interested in essential oils. Like, how have you marketed your business to be able to make those types of connections?
So that when I saw that question, I'm like, oh, right, you are really stretching me. So what I have found works best for me is when I know and have faith in the fact that I am providing value to people rather than having to prove my value.
Hmm.
So keeping my mission first and foremost, I've got it right up here on my board. I look at it every morning when I come into my office to work and make sure that what I have on my to-do list is in line with what that mission is, because that's when I provide the best value.
Hmm.
Now, specific marketing strategies are kind of tricky for me right now. Teaching essential oil classes, the company that I'm a wellness advocate for, doTERRA, they were the brand, right? I was the
Yeah.
vehicle. I was teaching and they were the brand. Now I am choosing to be the brand with Hometown Abundance and to be that cheerleader for these entrepreneurs out there and looking to provide the value that they need. So I'm I have committed Q1 of 2024 to start my
Okay.
YouTube channel. So, and in that YouTube channel, I will provide self-care tips for entrepreneurs, productivity hacks, and how you can balance, because there is no such thing as balance, but ways we can get closer to valuing hobbies, family, business, and encompassing all of that and not letting our business completely run our lives. I think we work under a kind of a phantom belief that if we're not constantly working, we're not being an entrepreneur. And I don't believe that's true. I believe
Right.
we have to be duplicatable. So to market, I am setting up a YouTube channel, which is completely stretching my comfort zone and working to be authentic and provide value where it's needed.
I love that. So, having been in business for 14 years, expanded internationally, and now kind of I'm going to not say it's a start over, like a refresh, a different, slightly different direction now with Hometown Abundance. What operations, strategies, and systems have you implemented, whether you're implementing currently or you've implemented in the past, to help manage your business, especially with like the diverse range of services slash products that you offer?
Yeah, that's a really good thing to bring up because I feel like as I'm shifting, the same principles still apply, right? Some of those same strategies can be there. And what I found as we were growing our business, our kids were all, my 5 kids are 9 years apart. So it was kind of through their junior high school years. And we had a lot of family meetings, right? Incorporating them like, hey, this is what this month looks like. This is the goal we have. When I was stretching to reach diamond in our company, my son, I came home from a class one time and he said, did you make it? And I said, oh, I'm platinum this month. And he's like, platinum's so much cooler than diamond. I think they should switch it. I think you're there. So incorporating your cheerleaders, right?
Mhm.
You've got to have those people that are going to cheer you on. But something that I learned the hard way, I guess, or through the bumps and bruises is that a cheerleader is not an accountability partner. Those
Oh,
things need
that
to
is
be
a great
completely different.
difference to call out. That is an
Yeah.
amazing difference to call out because your cheerleaders are in your corner no matter what. So
Yep.
if you drop the ball, they're like, it's okay.
Yep. 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 You miss that goal. You don't do the thing that day. They're like, yeah, but I understand because I still love you, or whoever, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And so recognizing I needed to have that accountability partner, and then going a step further and looking at those accountability partners that I can pay to be my accountability partner, right? And saying, hey, this is what I need, and I'm going to pay you as my coach, as my mentor, whatever it is, to be that accountability partner, because then I have skin in the game, and then they have skin in the game to hold me to it, to do the real talk and be like, you didn't get your monthly review done in time. So what's your start, stop, continue for the next month? I can't fake it till I make it, right?
Right.
Because I'm paying them to do that for me, and making that shift in that is an investment in your company as well as in yourself to have that accountability partner. And you owe it to your cheerleaders to do that, right?
Yeah.
Because they want to see you succeed, and that's the best way for that to happen. So don't ask your cheerleaders to be your accountability partner.
I love that. And I think it's a good call out too. Like I look very frequently at like, okay, what's the operations of your business? But then as a business owner, I call it like, what's your operational templates, right? So what templates are you as a person operating on that they're either helping or hindering you? And like you just hit it right there, the nail on the head. Yeah, I need someone to, my operational template as an individual is hold me accountable. I will get this done if you hold me, if you're holding me accountable. So finding the system of a mentor, a coach, an accountability group, whatever it is, to help support, build an operational template that supports you and your business's growth is huge. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about velocity, which is really what strategies that you are using to really ensure like and build that rapid growth and outreach for your business while maintaining what you had said earlier. Balance doesn't exist, but you don't want your business to take over everything, right? So how do you maintain that balance as well as the quality and personal touch that you've built over the last 14 years?
Yeah, so that has probably been my biggest nemesis as I have grown, because it's so important to me that everyone feels like they have that connection with me, right? As the person who shared essential oils with them or who is cheering them on in their business, whatever it is. And you always hear we've got to automate, you've got to have a funnel, you've got to have this, and they are all so important. But what really helped me was to sit down and define the level of automation versus the level of personal contact that I'm going to have with the different types of customers and contacts that I'm having, right? And the limits to what I will allow to be automated and what I won't allow to be automated. That said, then I also have really clear business hours. I'm an empty nester. My husband's in law enforcement. He works long hours. I could work all I wanted to.
Right.
But guess what? I love to sew, I love to play the violin, and I have a baby horse that I love to hang out with in the afternoon. So I have really clear business hours, and my phone, other than my kids and my husband, goes on silence after 6 p.m. unless I'm teaching a class that's been scheduled. So just creating some clear boundaries for yourself and honoring those because you deserve it, I think is super important. But then also defining what your level of connection is. I do use a CRM, right? So that I get the emails and the text and all of those things out because it helps with that follow-up. But I also have sticky pads and notes to remind myself that I want to call this person and wish them a happy birthday or whatever it is. So look at the personal connections that you can make and how you can know them, and then look at what can be automated as well and keep that balance.
I love that. We did here in the group, a couple weeks ago, actually, right before, I guess it's still a couple weeks ago, right before New Year 2024, went live in the group and shared that 2024 is the year of the personal brand, which also means the year of the personal touch. And we're seeing that a lot of people are replacing their personal touch and their marketing with AI and automation. And so the way it's a personal brand is you're going to stand out and have that rapid growth and that outreach and that connection with your clients because you've made those decisions of what needs to be automated to help me save time without compromising that personal touch and not using, you didn't mention AI, but I put AI and automation in the same camp where it's like, instead of using AI to write all your marketing, it's like you're writing your marketing, having AI maybe help you make it a little bit more compelling or brainstorming ideas, but you're writing it. People are starting to tell when it's written by you versus when it's written by AI. And the same thing with automation. They can tell when it's a personal touch by you versus it's an automated follow-up. And there's sections for that, right? There's times where as business owners, we want that balance and the automation is important, but not letting it take over. And so I love that you mentioned that because I think it's so important, especially for 2024, as we go into the year where business owners are leaning, I think, a little too heavily on AI and automation and are losing that customer experience.
Right. Well, and I think being really transparent and authentic, like you said, let them know you're going to get a monthly automated message from me, right? With the company's specials. You can choose in, I let people choose into a weekly tip on how to use essential oils. It's automated. They know that, but they also know that I'm going to text them on their birthday. I'm going to reach out and say, I know, I saw on Facebook, da 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 da, and this is going to happen. Worst nightmare, one of the very first automated texts I sent out, I called everyone by their last name instead of their first name. Oh, biggest faux pas, right? Like here I am trying to be this balance of personal and connected, but still get it out there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But you know what? The text that I sent out following saying, hey, that was my mistake. And I am so sorry. Automation isn't everything. And I just explained, I just said, I want to make the biggest impact. There's no way I can send out 1,500 texts on my own. I'm promising to do better. I got more response and more interaction from people when I said, hey, I'm sorry I screwed up than I have in a lot. And I think that helped prove that personal connection. Like I could have pretended that you didn't get called Proctor instead of Taylor, right? But instead it just called it what it was. And they were like, you're all good. We all make mistakes. Or some people were like, hey, I actually have a question, or I actually need the link to XYZ. And so I think we need to not be afraid of it, but we need to use it authentically.
1000%. So well put. So now let's talk about execution. And I want to talk about this in two ways with you. One, some practical execution tips for entrepreneurs, especially those balancing multiple roles like you are, to really effectively manage their work and personal life. And then I want to talk about what you're focusing on for 2024 that you're executing on. So let's start with, do you have any tips for entrepreneurs to be able to practically execute within their business while maintaining some balance?
Yeah. So probably my first thing is going to be that you do have things that need to be done in your business, right? And we're going to have our favorites. I love customer retention. I love that follow up. That's my preschool teacher coming out in me, right? But I also need to do networking. I also need to do recruiting. I also need to do lead generation. So I actually have a sheet that I cleaned off my desk, so I can't show you where it is. I have a paper that I print off every week where I write out what needs to happen in each of those categories every week in my business. I pull it off of my planner, like I have my quarterly goal, my monthly goal, my weekly goal. I take it backwards, and then I'm like, okay, for this week, what needs to happen in those 4 categories? And then I choose which 3 things from those categories are going to be done each day. Keeping it simple and managing it that way has worked really well for me. And I find that I have less blind spots because what you did 90 days ago are the results that you are going to be seeing in your business now, right? And so it's super sad to realize that 90 days ago you had a blind spot that you were missing, and now you're missing maybe that lead gen or maybe that follow-up, that retention, right? So trying to eliminate those blind spots and consistently progressing towards including all 4 of those areas in your business every day or in that week is going to be the best way. And the simplest way that I've done that is by just having my daily 3 and having that available. So, and you'll say, okay, I'll just say this. I have it as a download and you can get it.
So it is in the description of this video. That is the link to Alisse's daily 3 worksheet. So that not only practical executional tip, but also she's giving that as a free resource for us that we can actually tangibly take home or download, print out, and be able to use.
Yeah. So my other thing that I would say with that balance of all the pieces of our life is let's not look at time off as unproductive time. I think we get caught in that trap. Oh, if I'm going to take time off, I'm not doing anything. I'm punishing myself, right? No, look at that. And I like to assign things to my time off, right? Like I said, I play the violin. I actually should say I practice the violin. I played in junior high and then kept the violin under my bed all these years, but I always tell the kids, someday mom's going to play. 3 Christmases ago, my husband had the violin refurbished, restrung, and put it under the tree. That was his hint that it was time for me to get a hobby besides my children. And so having that 30 minutes to practice my violin, it's not time off. It's my development. It's my time. And that's productive time. So finding those hobbies or those things that you can do and incorporating that into your time off, sometimes I use it as a reward, right? If I'm going to do the hard stretching that comfort zone with my Q1 goals that we'll talk about in a minute, when I put in that solid hour and the timer goes off, I go straight out to my baby horse named Scooter and we take a walk. That's time off for me. And that to me is what helps to create balance and flow within our lives and within our business, so our business isn't running our life.
So good. So as we look forward to 2024, you had mentioned YouTube. So what is the big thing that you're working on and executing towards for the new year?
Yeah, so basically putting this YouTube channel together and in place as a resource for entrepreneurs to look for, I felt like there was a hole. We have coaches out there that give us the skills, right? You're there, you've got your I Move philosophy and you're there to walk people through and teach the skills and all of the things. But what about the self-care, right? What about making sure we've got just the simple productivity things that need to be happening? And I still love essential oils and I want to help even more people find uses for those in their home because they're natural. They're here. They're not going anywhere. And I've seen the shift both emotionally and physically that they can bring into people's lives. So the more I can get the word out about that, and I'm choosing to do that on YouTube, to launch that in Q1. How I'm going to market that, well, I am still learning because that is in my stretching zone, and I'm taking it one step at a time. I know that's where I'm called to be. I know that's the next step. And I've got faith that God's going to put the right people in my path to make sure I do it the right way. Or do a really crappy first draft, and then I'll come back and do it really great the second time. That would probably be something else I've learned is, no matter what we put out into the world, you can delete the Facebook post. If it doesn't get what, if it doesn't resonate the way you wanted it to, just delete it. It's gone. It's okay, right? So that crappy first draft for me, Q1, is going to be a YouTube channel that provides value to all of you guys out there, busting it out and creating an amazing business for people.
Awesome. So good. Well, Alisse, thank you so much for joining us today and for being so open and candid about your business journey and offering some amazing tips. Just as a reminder, go to the description, check out her link, which is hometownabundance.com/daily3 to get that resource, that worksheet page that she discussed and shared with us in the E part, the execution part of I Move. And again, I am your host, Taylor Proctor. Please stay tuned. We have more Get Good at Business interviews and business highlights coming up here in the group, and we will see you next time.
Yeah.